Today I'm going to show you how to cast off mega knitting. I've reached the end of this row. I've shown you various processes as I've worked through it, and here we are almost at the end. So as with all mega knitting, have the hook on the left needle facing away from you. Slip the first stitch because this is quite loose, knitwise, as if you were knitting. Knit the second stitch, and you can do the next stage one of two ways. You can either pull the hook through using your finger to help it to cast off that stitch, or you can just take hold of the stitch and slip it over the top of the other one. Either way is as effective as the other. Now, we do have another needle ready for this because, it seems silly to have a huge needle like this just for one stitch. And I'm going to slip it out and use this partial needle here. Actually, these are cable needles, and you can see this hole. That's for putting a cable into it to make a set of circular needles, and it comes in very handy for cable casting on and for casting off. So put the hook in, yarn around, knit the stitch, and take the first stitch over the second. And you proceed like that right until the end. And you see we're making a chain stitch here. Every so often just check your tension, make sure you're letting enough yarn in. I'm going to put a fringe on here, so I want it to be quite firm. And it's up to you whether you cast off with on a knit row or on a purl row. It depends on the project you're doing and the finish that you want. I want this cast off edge to match, so the purl row cast on looks like that, purl side, and I want this on the knit side of the stocking stitch. But there's no hard and fast rule. There's no reason why you shouldn't cast off on a purl row. Just do the knit stitches for casting off in the same way. Ensure that you have enough yarn to do your casting off when you're mega knitting. You'll want at least 3 times the width of the project you're knitting in the length of yarn before you start to cast off. And this little needle really does make easy work of it. It's not difficult with the bigger needle.
But you can hear the other needle clattering on the table.
Let me cushion it a bit. I've gone into the back of those 2 stitches because I had them twisted. I was experimenting with something and they were mounted incorrectly. That's why I knitted into the back. Right, so to finish it off, you take hold of your spare yarn. You will cut it, I won't, because I'm going to incorporate that into my fringe. And there is the cast off edge.
So you finish just by passing the tail of the yarn through the last loop?
That's right. And this project I'm not going to weave in the ends because I shall cut that about there and it'll be the first strand of the fringe that I'm going to put in.
Okay, right.
Because that's what I'm going to do now, is to put the fringe into each of these cast off stitches. There. So the next thing I'm going to show you, not today, is how to use continental style to knit on mega needles with mega yarns. That is, holding the yarn in your left hand. It's taken me quite a while because I'm very right-handed, but I've been working at it just for you. So until then.